Hi. So Marion and I are here expectantly, hoping that someone is going to drop in and join us today.
I don't mind. I've got you to talk to.
Oh, who's that?
Cheryl's just calling me.
She can't call on our call, but maybe she's joining us.
I've declined. It's interesting. Oh dear.
Okay, so when I watch other people doing lives at the beginning, they say, well, I'm just going to spend a few minutes to tag people, or I'm just watching to see the numbers rising. Sasha Stone's always watching to see the numbers rising.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's going up and it's millions now. That's 2 million.
Millions. He doesn't. He gets thousands, maybe, not millions. Not quite yet. Maybe soon.
I think it was David Icke who got, did he get 5 million or a quarter?
Oh, when they did the London Reel, one of the first or the second one, I think it was. Yeah, they kind of crashed the internet, didn't they? Talk about break the internet. David Icke broke the internet. And not only was it so many people trying to watch him, it was the censors trying so hard to bring it down. It was amazing to see the chaos that it created, just his presence. Brilliant.
Yeah. So does that mean that that David Icke is more popular than Sasha Stone? Has it got a bigger following?
He's got a bigger red flag on YouTube and on this censoring platforms. He's a much bigger red flag than Sasha is, I believe. I don't know for true, but I think also David Icke's definitely, I would suggest, has got a much bigger following than Sasha Stone, just because he's been around for so much longer, and also Sasha doesn't have the controversy of telling Terry Wogan the Queen's a lizard, you see. So David Icke's got this like a virus theme that he set off in the 80s that is stayed.
Maybe people were less ready for it than talking about the Queen being a lizard.
Oh, it was terrible then, wasn't it? I mean, even I completely fell hook, line and sinker for that. Oh my God, he's batty. He's totally lost it. He's lost the plot. And absolutely, he lost the plot to the old Matrix. Brilliant. I was just still in it at the time.
Yeah, but what a courageous man.
Oh, I couldn't imagine. I would never put myself, that feels like really putting yourself in danger. And I would never be able to stand up to that level of, it's danger. It was like humiliation, but it was it was cynical, wasn't it? Sinister.
Yeah. I mean, he was a young man, wasn't he? And he just stood up there and he spoke his truth the whole time. And he's carried on speaking his truth, even though it seems outrageous.
Yeah. Yeah, he really lives his own reality, doesn't he, without filtering. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We've got talking to us already. We've got Marianne saying good morning. Good morning, Marianne. It's actually tea time over here. And we've got Jack from the train who's barreling through Somerset.
Really?
He's been 3 weeks on Dartmoor. Well done, you, Jack. I bet you feel amazing. I bet you feel completely
3 weeks
reconnected and recharged. Yeah, he's been wild camping in his little 2-man tent or whatever it is.
Oh, that's stunning.
Maybe it's a 1-man tent. I know. That's really brave, isn't it, to go and do that and just rock up on Dartmoor.
That's absolutely stunning. What an amazing thing to do, Jack.
Yeah, great. Good for you. Really reconnecting to the earth.
Yeah. I think we could all do with doing that, couldn't we? Just like getting totally out in nature. And I don't imagine that it's something you can do very easily in England, but Jack's obviously just done it. So
yeah. And in the wilds of somewhere like Dartmoor as well. So blissful, isn't it? Because it's relatively unsullied. I mean, we don't really know, do we? The plan keeps unfolding and showing us we've got no idea what's been going on.
No.
Every unfolding, you think, what? There's more? Everything's been touched. Everything's been, nothing has been left unsullied.
But do you think there's one of those deep underground
you never know.
bases under Dartmoor?
You never know, do you? You know.
Is David Icke ever mentioned?
I don't know, I've never heard him talk about the underground bases. Don't know.
No,
never heard him talk about it. What I like about what he does is he actually talks about elders' wisdom. because he talks about talking to tribal people and talking to community, or talking with communities about their belief structures and where they get their information from. So he
Yeah,
is quite, it's quite grounded in ancestral or elder knowledge and wisdom. What he
yeah.
brings.
I guess that's the basis of how he came to his theories, isn't it?
Yeah,
He had an amazing kind of spiritual awakening, and he's done all this traveling around the world, connecting, and doing this research and seeing that there are mythologies around lizards or lizard type things, or out
just look at the hieroglyphics. They've been there. We've been studying them since we were at school. They even let us see them. They misinterpreted them for us. Well, you can see it. You can, humans and other species that communicate at the level that we do. We're clever enough to create an image that is meaningful, that it can't really be misinterpreted for too long. Because the
yeah,
image itself gives information, doesn't it? You can't keep labeling it as something else.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, there's loads of pictorial illustrations of other types of being as part of the soup of who humanity has become now.
yeah. I've seen that because I went on a trip to Egypt a couple of years back around the pyramids and saw some incredible images that seem to be off planet, and using kind of technologies that we don't have,
Yeah,
and I mean things like helicopters and that are depicted on the
yeah,
walls of it. Yeah.
exactly.
So interesting where this conversation is leading, but I mean it seems insane to think that we're the only species, the only living intelligent beings in the whole of the universe. That just doesn't make sense at all.
No, it's never made sense to me. It's always felt, if you believe that, that's stupid. I mean, even as a child, I remember thinking that. When people are trying to say, I think it was probably around the time of being told there's no tooth fairy or Father Christmas. There's a bit of me that knows, but you're still not giving me the whole picture. You're trying to tell me none of it exists. Well, that's not true either.
Yeah.
Maybe not those images of Santa or whatever, but there's definitely this other way of being, this other energy, this other presence, if you like, that we can connect to. That's not, yeah, felt
Well,
very in alignment with pixies and fairies and things.
yeah. So Sasha Stone, you're going to see him soon?
I'm hopefully in 2 weeks' time, we will be in the same, at least in the same part of the world, if not the same room.
So you have got to give him an invite to Healing Waters if you see
Oh,
him. So
I will.
go and see Juliet. Tell him she's one of your. Uh,
You don't need to tell me what to say about you.
what would you say? It's like, what would you say? Yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't want to say I'm a fan.
Don't tempt me.
Don't say anything like that.
I'll just no, I'll just tell him how great you are, and yeah, and Glastonbury is obviously a really important part of the planet, so he needs to be there, and when he's there, he needs to be in contact with you. That's it, really.
Yeah, I mean, he does. He did on his what is it? One of his programs back Glastonbury tour when he was doing the it's gone out of it, the scale, no scale,
Lazarus.
the scalar, not the Lazarus, the
Oh,
scalar frequencies of sacred sites. Who did Glastonbury tour as one of
oh
them.
yeah, yeah. With that really lovely couple who do the frequency.
Elena and
Yeah,
the guy. Yeah,
yeah. Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Glastonbury then, didn't they?
He's got to pop over to Glastonbury. You can
Yeah.
have a free
So
stay.
there we are.
We'll
Tell him.
invite him. Yeah, I think he's incredibly courageous as well.
I know. It's lovely, isn't it, when you start seeing people really stand. So this is what David Icke did. He just stood in his truth. Because I have a difficult time sometimes talking about this idea of truth, because it's like I'm not sure where I live in terms of there is one truth and everyone has their truth. Because it's like if everyone has their truth, how can there be only one? Do you know what I
No,
mean? But
I think you're mixing up two different things. I think
oh,
there is
good,
one
tell me.
truth. There is one. There is truth and there is falsehood. Maybe don't say there's one truth, because truth can be about all sorts of things.
Exactly.
Yeah. And when somebody is standing in their truth, it's what is real, what is authentic to them, rather than going along with a program, or rather trying to impress, or than trying to get you to hook into something. There's this thing that is people being seductive in all sorts of ways, or people hooking into the glamour. Like there's all these new age kind of religions and things to follow, and
Trend.
it's like it's put there because people are doing it, not because they authentically believe in it, but because this is a way to make money, or this is popular at this
Yeah.
point in time. This is the current wave, so let's hop aboard the gravy train.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think standing in one's truth is when you're doing something because it feels absolutely right and aligned in your heart. And it could be any kind of what we might perceive as wacky or strange. But if
Yeah.
they're because who am I to judge whether somebody has this ability, or they can speak with angels, or
Yeah.
do all sorts of things, or teleport, or whatever? That I absolutely don't know. But is somebody saying they're teleporting because that's a nice, impressive thing to say, or it's going to get attention, or whatever? That's some subterfuge reason why which may be conscious or unconscious.
Yes.
Or are they saying it because that is truly their experience?
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And I think we can tell, we have a gut feeling whether somebody's being authentic, whether somebody's standing in their truth, no matter what the experiences they're describing, whether
Exactly.
they're aligned to that or not. Because
Exactly.
when they're not, it's just like, don't know how I feel about this person.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's like having the same beliefs and standing in each other's truth is a completely different thing. I think that's where I get a bit confused, because where we have a very strong set of beliefs or values or ideals, we perceive that as truth sometimes. But actually, beliefs, opinions, judgments, they're all just part of our being rather than the actual essence of what's going on, aren't they? They're just like little blips in waves in life, if you like.
I
But
mean,
there's
one absolute truth
ground.
is,
So,
one absolute truth is that we can never know the absolute truth. There's always a mystery, isn't there? So if we're making out that we know
yes,
absolutely, then we're not actually standing in our truth. It's like
yes,
we're attached to an idea and identifying to it in a way that's not truly authentic.
yeah. So I suppose it's the truth of authenticity rather than the truth of what I'm thinking or being or saying or doing. It's how authentic am I being while I'm being or thinking or saying or doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So this whole idea of truth, of standing in your truth, and that really generating a lot of power for you. And it's so frequently men in those positions. Um, so it's great to be around people like that, because I think for me, it feels quite safe, because there's a stability, isn't there, in that being when it's in its truth, whoever that is, he or she, or yeah, there's something that really calms my
Control
nerves.
system.
Yeah,
That you're getting what it says on the tin, and not, there's nothing else going on there.
no hidden shenanigans. Yeah.
No hidden agenda. So we've got Nicola.
Oh, hey, Nicola. Hello, hello, gorgeous. How are your potatoes for splight? Oh, bright. What's it called? Blight.
How's the what? Potatoes.
Was it potato? Oh no, it was tomatoes. Was it? What was it that they couldn't grow?
It was the tomatoes. I've just had a huge tomato experience. I was hoping, now that I was growing tomatoes in the polytunnel, it wasn't going to be affected by the blight.
But it is.
My
Oh,
tomatoes were up to the ceiling of the polytunnel, and like rich and abundant, and I've spent the last 3 days cutting all the leaves off, like wheelbarrows of leaves.
Is that where the blight gets in, through the leaves?
Well, it gets in all over the plant, but anything that's blighted has to be removed. But you can't really save a plant when it's blighted; it's going to die.
Wow.
And all the tomatoes are setting on it, nice, like tomatoes just hanging. I mean, it's tragic. Tomatoes always seem to get blighted just before the tomatoes are ripe, and they're there hanging lusciously, and you know that they're going to rot.
You not get green tomatoes?
Well, you can. I did harvest mine last year.
Make a nice sour green tomato chutney, could you?
Yeah, you can do. I did harvest them last year, and I just remember, I think they're still in the fridge. I never even tried them. My fridge is so packed with fermented, not in a bad way, I promise you. I was doing lots of ferments last year with vegetables from the garden. I thought, oh, I know, I'll see if they ferment.
Wow.
Like lactobacillus fermentation. So yes, that's what I did last year. But if they are beginning to rot, you can tell they start to go brown, the extra tomatoes, then you wouldn't want to do anything.
No, once that actual biochemical shift has happened.
Yeah. So you get the plant gets the spores on it, and then it gradually takes over the whole plant. And
so is blight a type of fungus?
Yeah, spores in the air. When it's very warm over a period of days, warm and moist.
Okay.
So I thought the polytunnel would actually be all right because it wasn't getting so damp, but it is quite humid in there.
Yeah.
So alas.
So what's Nicola's saying? Hello, tomatoes. Ha ha. Juliet, you've got blight too. Oh no. You can compost the blighted leaves because the blight only survives on the living material.
Yeah, I know that. I've found that out now.
And green tomato curry is yummy. There you go.
Yeah, but anyway, between the tomatoes, I've got the most fantastic crop of cucumbers. I've harvested about 15 long telegraph computers.
Cucumbers.
Cucumbers. We had such a lovely day in the gardens today. We've got a really beautiful team building, and we're all working, and then we sat down and had an impromptu lunch. Different people who had some things, we just spread it out on the table, and I brought in a cucumber from the polytunnel and some tomatoes that hadn't blighted yet, some ones that are ripe, and some rocket. Like just gathering it from the garden, just as it was, and plumped it all on the table. It was the most delicious thing we'd eaten.
Mm-hmm.
And the cucumber was so tender. I've never cut a cucumber before. There's no resistance in the skin at all. It's just slice. It's absolutely delicious. So that was wonderful. Magical moments. The gardens are feeling really amazing and good at the moment. You're looking. What are you looking at, Marion? Are we?
I'm just checking, making sure that we've got a YouTube presence and a Facebook presence. You can tell I'm distracted, can't you?
I can tell the slightest little thing. I spend all my life watching people's slightest body posture or skin color or tone of their voice. It's totally second nature to me just to be tracking all the time what's happening with their attention and where they're going and things.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Okay, so we have lots of comments here. Where did we get to with the comments? We did the green tomato.
The next one is Jack. Is the next one. Jack and Nicola are now having a conversation going on their own. That's nice.
Okay. That's good because we want people to connect up with each other and support each other outside of our calls.
Even if it is to talk about green tomato curry.
But these are important things.
They are, aren't they? Can you imagine all of those tomatoes, to find a way of using them, even though it's a disaster, darling, with the blight, rather than just go, oh no, they've all gone. So it's a big difference, isn't it, if you can find a way to actually use them. So yeah, green tomato curry, we're on for that. Right, Nicola, we need a recipe. I'm sure
Yeah.
Juliet would come up. You'd do what I do though, Juliet, wouldn't you? You'd look at the recipe and then go off and make your own version of it.
Absolutely, I never follow a recipe, and it's like I don't even think about it. It's when I'm in the kitchen, it's like, okay, what have I got from the garden here that's like bursting out of my cupboards that needs to be used? And then I'll start chopping that up, and then I reach my hand into the cupboard and pull out a spice. I don't really look at what it is, put it in, and then another one. It's just like a movement, a dance,
The
really.
body knows.
Sorry,
The body knows.
the body knows,
When
yeah.
I let my body cook and I get my mind out of the way, it's always much more delicious.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's my cooking is very, very spontaneous, whatever's there, all sorts of things. And I can always make a meal out of, a few little tiny carrots that have been from the carrot thin-ins, and some onions that were starting to flower, and some green leaves. And it's like, I'm often making things out of that stuff that people would normally like cook,
Throw it away.
Because I've had years and years of bringing up a family in the south of France, and we're really poor, and like managing through winter time. It's like, oh, what's there left in the garden? And so there's always abundance around me.
Yes.
So coming out of that poverty, but knowing that life is incredibly abundant. There's all sorts of things around us all the time that we can use.
Yeah. I think that's nice, isn't it, to be able to appreciate abundance exists rather than I make abundance or I create abundance. No one creates it. It's here already.
Yeah.
We arrived. It's around us. It might be an abundance of shit, but it's an abundance of something everywhere all the time. Oh, that was funny.
So I'm hearing that we're having this rambling conversation, but just to focus the purpose of these calls, it's like we're here to invite you, if you're listening, what's going on for you, what's important for you at this moment in time, and also very much in context with the amount of pressure and stress that people are going through, because we globally seem to be going through this massive transformation with these huge forces of darkness kind of trying to smash us and crush us, but at the same time these roots coming up and amazing things happening. So yeah, just to focalize that is the purpose of our calls.
Yeah.
And like, where are we at the moment? I mean, what's coming up for you? Anybody listening, what's coming up for you right at this moment? Please post and let's hear about it. But what's coming up for you, Marion, right now? What's the important thing? Big question. I know you're on the point of doing a big trip. And
cancelled flights is what I'm dealing with at the moment. BA have cancelled my ticket 3 times now. So I currently have no ticket to leave the country in 10 days' time, which is the plan. But I don't care because I've found one that I can buy online if I need to. I've been checking it every other day, and it's fine. It's there. The price hasn't really changed. So I know there's, it's not going to be, but I'm waiting now for BA to refund me so I can purchase the new ticket.
Yeah, BA has been really bad, saying that people can't fly with them unless they get injected.
So I'm quite pleased that it's not with BA, to be honest, because when I first booked it, there were a lot of questions in my mind about what might they try to insist, and it's and one of the options is with Lufthansa. So because Germany have now decided they're going to stop being realistic about these geopolitical situations and the health situation, I thought, well, that might be actually what's needed. I might need to fly with a German airline just to be treated like a human being again.
Yeah, that's good. So last week we said that Germany had paused the injections. Is that definite and for real? Have you heard any more about that?
Don't know. I don't know. The last few days, I've not actually been keeping up with the news at all because, I've been editing videos and looking at flights. It's like consumed my last few days.
Well, that's important since you're
I'm
going
doing a lot of video editing because what I'm doing is I'm taking little snippets out of videos in English and I'm getting Spanish subtitles put on them and then reissuing them with the Spanish subtitles actually on them.
What
So
kind of videos? You mean what's
videos
going
of
on?
me talking about what I do to share with
Oh,
people in Mexico,
okay, yeah,
because I'm building my Mexican audience. So
yeah,
I'm having to create Spanish speaking or Spanish subtitled content to help to share what I do. Uh, yeah, and it's a bit time consuming doing videos, then subtitles, then translating and making sure the subtitles are right because my accent is a bit weird. So yeah, all consumed by video editing, and I love editing videos because it's like a game. Can be a bit frustrating because I am a bit OCD at times, but it's really lovely to produce things. It's like when I was, being a computer programmer, I find it really creative because someone tells you what they want, but you're the one who makes it happen. And you're the one who makes it happen in the way that you think is the right way. So you get to satisfy your own creativity. Yeah, so I really like playing with videos and GIFs and images and words. I love words. So
yeah,
being able to do Spanish, English translation stuff, it's teaching me words that I can actually start incorporating as well into my Spanish.
yeah,
So that's really cool.
yeah. So just checking with Jack and Nicola. Are they still talking about?
No, Jack's on me now. Jack's telling me how inspiring I am. Thank you,
Oh,
Jack.
yeah. She is very inspiring. Marion has done amazing things for me as well. So
Oh,
that's beautiful. Yeah, yeah. So coming back to what's going on, so flights, and at the same time, there's this, it's coming up to the point of time when children are about to go back to school, and there's this massive, massive fight on
well,
building.
today, interestingly, just before I was out, just went up to the local shops and I went up at school letting out time. I didn't realise some of the children have gone back today in London. And suddenly, that like where the streets have been quite empty for a few weeks at this time of day, suddenly it was like, oh, it's busy. There's lots of people everywhere. So few face coverings, amazing, like beyond amazing. So few. I've never seen so little in number of
Well,
face
that's
coverings.
fantastic, but they're lining kids up to inject them, and that's really worrying. It's like everybody, well, not everybody I know, a lot of people I know are working flat out to challenge
Yeah.
the government. So writing letters to the school teachers, writing letters to people administering the lethal
I
jabs.
think if you've got children or if you know people who've got children, it's important that the parents understand that they do have ways to stay stay as the guardian of their own child. If they could, there are letters, aren't there, that if you get your child to take a copy of the letter, or if you take a letter to your child's school and it states very clearly, don't you're not allowed to do anything to my child, and my child has got every right to just
Refused.
to refuse and
Yeah,
to just come home if they need to because they're being coerced or bullied. There are actually quite a few different letters and bits of information that people can use to
yeah,
make sure that they stay as the guardian and decision maker for their own child.
yeah. Because I will put more links under here, but please do go to my Telegram channel as well, which the
Yeah.
link of my Telegram is under all of these videos. And all the time I put the latest templates and campaigning materials underneath. But the whole push of what's happening now is they say that 12-year-olds have Gillick confidence that they are able to make their own decisions about their health and they don't need their parents' permission.
Schools are not even allowed to give your child a paracetamol without permission.
And yet they are going ahead and injecting children without parents' permission on the say-so of the children. And if you think about how many adults have been manipulated into being injected
Well, the
now,
children have been flooded with it because they're in Black Mirror world, aren't they? They live in this little space between the screens
exactly.
and
So
stuff.
it's a very worrying time for parents. Like if I can't protect my adult children, and like they get taken in by all the propaganda, how easy it is to manipulate a child.
They've
And
made that's what schools have made happen, though, isn't there? There's a really lovely book written with Gabor Mate, and I can see his face in my mind. His name will come to me in a moment. Gordon, somebody or other. Gordon Nuffield, I think. Neufeld. something like that. And it's called How to Keep Your Kids, I think is what they've called it, or something. And the
No,
book is
Gabor
called,
Mato wrote a book, Hang On to Your Kids. Is that what you mean?
it might be the one, Hang On to Your Kids. Yeah, with Gordon Uffeld, the child psychology specialist. And what Gordon's great at seeing really clearly is how children are being raised and programmed to have this hidden authority behind peer pressure, and parents are out of the picture.
Yeah, that's Gabor Mato, exactly. So kids are very, very vulnerable at this point in time.
I remember I remember at school, there was a type of jeans that somebody had, which were called FUs. Now I realise it means fuck you. I think, yeah, that's great. And there's me at 12 going to my mum, I just want a pair of FUs. She said she still used to remember it. She was in her 80s, and she said, all you ever used to ask for was bloody FUs. It was probably about a month, but I didn't stop saying the word for a month because I wanted these jeans because they had a cool badge on the pocket. And they seemed to be quite trendy. They were more trendy than Levi's in my eyes. And so I was obsessed. It's
Yeah,
quite easy, isn't it, to capture us, especially at that age where we're so concerned with who we're becoming and who people see us as, because we're growing now, teenagers and things.
exactly. So how completely evil to do this to our children that have absolutely no risk of any kind of illness whatsoever, and they absolutely do not need, even if there was one of these illnesses that had been identified, or even if there was a test that really, really worked, even if there was really a thing that protected, all of that is made up. And now they're preying on the minds of our children to get them injected. So I think there's been a massive upsurge. Your attention is gone. Where have you gone to?
It is. I'm telling someone to come and watch us.
Oh, good. Okay, come and watch. Yeah,
She doesn't-
share. Come and share.
because I've got a new computer, and do you know what it is, Juliet? Normally I don't have notifications on, but some of the notifications are on, so things are popping up. I don't like it when things pop up in front of me.
No, it's
But
very
anyway, it's
distracting.
happening.
Yeah. So how completely evil can it get that they're now killing our children?
Yeah.
I read a post yesterday, I think it was, from this mother that had her child injected, thinking, I mean, anyone that believes in the injections will probably think it's all right to have their children injected. But she was going, oh, my son had his first injection and he was really, really ill, and I'm really worried that maybe I've killed him. He was being so ill.
Does she realise? Is she appreciating it's potentially the jab that's made him ill,
Yeah.
or is she not seeing that?
No, I think she is seeing that.
Okay, because that's another really confusing thought to me. Is, oh, I'm so glad I've had it. Like, you're dying now, yeah, but I'm so glad I've had it because it would be worse if I didn't.
Oh my God, there's so many mind
Like,
fucks.
what?
There's so many ways they fuck your mind with this. Like, there's so many ways they manipulate it. But like saying, you're not fully covered by these jabs until you've had 2, or now they're saying until you've had 3. So we don't consider you as being that word beginning
90
with B.
days. 90 days. The booster cycle is 90 days. This has been documented since the very first information about the green passport. Your green passport will require 90-day booster inoculations to stay green. It's written in the small print in the terms and conditions. So they've known since before they even suggested it to us that they're going to hook us into a 90-day cycle.
Yeah. And I was speaking to my ex, who, I mean, the good thing is he actually spoke to me about it. I've been sending him stuff for months, but he always totally ignores it. And then I challenged him and said, why do you always ignore when I'm sending you about this information? And then he did reply and said, oh, well, it's a complex subject, but I had my 2 because now I can travel. So
Travel where?
travel where exactly? Yeah.
Travel to your grave with a clot in your ear. What can I say? Anyway, sorry, that's terrible, isn't it?
So anyway, but the good news is that there are more and more people standing up. It's like massive, massive protests all over France at the moment, huge. And the truckers are going on strike.
Australia. trucking in Australia and Canada, I believe. In Canada, they've blocked the whole American border, I think.
Wow, I didn't hear
Yeah,
that.
there's some big trucking stuff going on.
So I went to several garden centres the other day. And the shelves were practically empty.
Yeah.
And B&Q, and yeah, I said, "Are you having problems with deliveries?" Yes, they said, "It's very frustrating. We can't get anything, particularly wood and cement, and So if more and more truckers are going on strike, which we want them to do to blockade,
Yes, less and less things will be available.
yeah. So be prepared, folks. Be
Yeah,
prepared.
find your abundance, but not on the shelves of Lidl.
Yeah, create your abundance.
Actually, Lidl and Aldi are probably the best places to go because they won't have anything stop their progress, will they? Tesco's give up at the drop of a hat. Lidl and Aldi. You see that song, The Irish Guy? Lidly Aldi, Lidly Aldi, Lidly Aldi dee. He goes shopping because his wife breaks her leg and he gets obsessed with buying plastic forks in Lidl or something. I don't know. It's a
No, I
very good
haven't
song.
seen that.
It's a very
Can you give us a full rendition?
No, that's it. Lidly Aldi, Lidly Aldi, Lidly Aldi dee. Something like that. That's my rendition. I went down to the Aldi and I saw a big two-man tent. I don't know. That's my folk singing done.
Uh,
Right, what have we got? We've got some messages coming in. Jack saying, Jack doesn't understand how parents who don't home educate their children in these challenging times because he doesn't trust the schools. He home educated Laura. And decades before all this started, even before the jab, schools were spreading government propaganda, absolutely indoctrinating children into the game we did not devise. I love that, Jack. That's so true. Indoctrinating our children to a game we didn't devise. The thing I see, though, Jack, is I know a lot of women my age and younger who've got children, and they're so trapped. They're so trapped in the intentional debt cycle that money is. They're so trapped in it that to be home with their children is equal to starving. So it's like they would choose to starve their children if they didn't do their work and have the children go to school. And again,
yes,
it's such a strong program. So even though I totally agree and understand with what you're saying, Jack, and I think that's how it should be, I also have to say I'm very compassionate towards a lot of parents who don't even know that it's possible. They don't know it's possible. And they're so scared of starving their own children. They can't even take in our ideas because right now the children are not starving. So they're surviving. So they're going to stay there. They're going to stay surviving because their children are, and the horrors of what could happen if they don't survive. It's too big for them to contemplate leaving the box that they've found themselves in. So I agree 100%, Jack, and I'm totally compassionate to parents who are trapped by the debt cycle. Yeah, and I'm happy to help anyone who needs an understanding of how do we get out of those trapped feelings, because this is part of trauma, isn't it, Juliet? The trapped feelings of the debt cycle. It's the feelings that keep us there, and
yeah,
actually the feelings are part of the work that we do with the understanding and appreciation of trauma, and then informed therapeutic work with trauma as well, isn't it?
absolutely. I was having this conversation yesterday with somebody that was part of our wealth passive income business that we do, and she was saying about like she didn't feel like she could succeed at it because she's never been able to, and it's like this never been able to, that's the trauma pattern.
Yeah.
I've always been in an overwhelm and nothing can ever change, and this totally colors the reality. It's like there's no way out of this situation for me. So we're dealing with massive indoctrination in the schools and a massive amount of trauma at all levels across our society, across our global population. So it's a really, really big thing that we're working on together to shift.
Yeah.
And why it's so important for communities to start coming together. And they are coming together. It's actually really amazing what's happening.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, those language patterns are really a giveaway once you start to understand, aren't they? Those generalization language patterns. It's all or nothing. It's black and white.
Yeah.
There's no grey in that world.
Yeah, so I said to her, listen out to your limiting beliefs. When you say this, when it's falling out of your mouth, just listen to what you're saying to yourself, because you will have what you're creating. I know this sounds like woo-woo, and it's like, everybody's saying that you create what you believe you're creating, but it's actually true.
It's very true. And it's not that your creations change, it's how you feel about what you've created that changes. So there's a really great story about a Swami Makanundu or whatever, on his Sunday morning walk down to the temple, and there he is, all wrapped in his pristine white dhoti, and he's got his white beautiful cloths on. And as he walks down the street, he steps in a bit of shit, and it's a bit soft, and it splashes all over his beautiful white dhoti. And my yoga teacher told me this story, and this is the language that she uses. I love it. You fucking shit! You shit! Now you're all over me. And the shit said, "Aha. Yesterday, I was your favourite cake." And it's like illustrating how, if he'd recognised that that was yesterday's favourite cake, he could have gone, oh dear, got a bit of yesterday's favourite cake on me. But he didn't. He went, shit, fucking shit. And it was the same experience. It's just a different response from him. So I love that story because, Hansaji, she says it with all the fucking and the shits in. I told it on the BAFTAs stage, and it's one of the things that we always do. When I spoke on the stage at the BAFTAs, and I said 3 fucks and 2 shits. My claim to fame.
Almost.
My inner 3-year-old's alive and well. Oh dear. So we're on some more. So Marianne is saying she's heard that US truckers are joining in as well. Brilliant. That's amazing news, Marianne. I love that. I'll be closer to you in this time in a couple of weeks, Marianne. Where is she? San Diego, Santa Barbara, somewhere like that.
Yeah, I'll be distance, but
I'll be on the other side. I'll be on the Caribbean side, but we'll be on the same landmass very soon, Marianne. It's nice. So then Jack says the debt cycle is, of course, the basis of their game. Absolutely. Anything that keeps us trapped, like a little mouse in its wheel or a hamster in its cage.
You have to keep running and running to pay the debts, to pay the rent, to buy the baked beans, to pay off the credit card.
The matrix tied up in a knot. We need to stop playing the game and help each other to thrive. Absolutely, Jack. Absolutely. And it's, as Juliet was just saying, Jack, I think I'm starting to see more and more evidence that the community creation, this collaborative community creation, is something that so many people are focusing on now. They're beginning to learn that this is what we need to focus on. Buckminster Fuller said it, didn't he? Don't fight the old. Build the new, and the old is obsolete. Don't fight the old. Build the new, and the old will become obsolete. You don't need to give it any energy.
That's great wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just build what you want. Build what you want. Build what you want.
Yeah, it's really great wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how can you support these shifts? People listening here, the shifts that are happening. Is it like sitting on your social media and sharing it around a little bit more, or telling people some more? One thing that I did was to be courageous. We've been making these leaflets and sharing them out. So I just pin them all on a big notice board outside my house. It's like, I don't give a shit what people think. But, I've put these leaflets pinned out there for teenagers with QR codes to be able to scan to get the information.
Excellent.
Right outside my front door, so.
Yeah. I know. It's they're great. Remember the night we went out and put those stickers out? Yeah. And we were sneaking around with them. Well, I didn't bother to cover up because I don't live in Glastonbury. But you were wrapped up like a bloody Egyptian mummy, sneaking around Glastonbury at 9 o'clock at night in the dark, sticking stickers on things. That was a good night.
Okay, Ina. Ina is shared. Hi, Ina.
She's late. Yeah, do you want me to read it? She's
Yeah,
so Zina's saying she's late in joining, but her daughter home educates her two children. They're 6 and 11. She took them out of school last year. Good for her when she saw what was happening. And she's joined a fantastic homeschooling group. Excellent. And it's and is the only mother who does now work. So she's still working. Okay, the children are thriving and learning things that they would never learn at school. So it's like going to forest school every week. Wow. Love it. Love it. Love
yeah.
it. That's a great share, Ina. Thank you for that.
Yeah, so if you home educate your children, then there's so much more they can learn outside of what they teach them in schools. There's I just found out now that there's a big homeschool movement here in Glastonbury that I wasn't realising. With Iona, who's part of the Goddess thing, they've set up a school, and this is Ina's comments I've just put up there.
She's and she's supposed to
Say
say
not
not
work.
work. Yeah. So she's not working now, and all the other mums still are. Wow. Well, that's great, Ina, that you're shining your light. You're being the beacon of what the possibilities are. Is Ina in our? Are you in our part of our project? Is she one of your team, Juliet? Not yet. Right, Ina, you need to connect because if you're creating an income to facilitate allowing your children to be educated in your choice, that income creation is one of the things that
Yeah.
we keep tempting people with, don't we? So they need to contact us if they're interested. Nicola knows about it. Jack knows about it. They're all on board now.
Yeah, so we have ways to support you. If you contact us, we can share.
Yeah.
So, what else do we want to share about? So, I really like that more and more people are getting these boards, these big yellow boards, and standing on roundabouts. And each board, like it's enormous, you just hold it, and the cars going past can see one sentence or 3 words or something.
What sorts of things do they say?
Just about the injections and about killing children and
Okay. So just planting seeds.
Just planting seeds, but 6, 8, 10 people stand together, and as you drive down the road, you see this one, this one, this one, this one, and you're following a whole line of information.
Wow! So it's like a little storyboard.
Absolutely, and people are standing on roundabouts all over Britain.
I love that.
Yeah, and then saying toot, hoot if you agree. So all the cars are going past, hoot, 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 hoot. Yeah. So
social confirmation. I mean, we use it because I teach public speaking, and the guy that I teach with, he devises ways of making sure that you maximize sales. When you speak, if you're going to sell, how do you maximize your sales from stage? So it's done in a way that's quite manipulative psychologically. And the thing that you've got to get is social proof. So when one person stands up and starts moving towards the back of the room to buy your product, there's no social proof in that because it could be your mum, But if 15 people suddenly stand up and walk to the back of the room, you'll notice that's the beginning of a wave. And that social proof wave doesn't have to just be in sales or in marketing or in...
Could be in anything, yeah.
It's a natural, instinctive community behaviour of humans. It's a natural, socially instinctive behaviour, isn't it, that we follow the wave?
Absolutely, and I get a sense that that's what's happening now. So we've got this massively worrying thing with the children going back to school and about to be murdered by our government. And at the same time, there's this wave, the fact of like, okay, well, we'll tolerate you injecting me because, maybe I believe in it and I believe in that and so on. And you've already got my mind, but I don't realize it. So I'll go along with the program. But then when they start to murder our children, it's like then people are starting to wake up and this huge social wave is now happening.
Yeah, and that's where the cognitive dissonance can begin to soften a little bit in others, because that's what the social proof does, isn't it? It breaks up that absolute boundary of cognitive dissonance that won't let the information in. That boundary gets distorted when it sees so many people behaving the other way.
Yeah. And I think that was why I actually managed to have a conversation with my ex for the first time throughout all of it. He actually responded to me. And then I started sharing some stuff. So I just, hopefully that you know, that's part of that wave. But it's kind of given me courage to talk about it a bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think it's again, it's like we've been saying the same thing all along. We've been saying the same thing. So that the fact that none of it's changed, the truth is there's still the truth all this time in. It's still the same crucial points. uh, you know, we can, if you look back, we can see them even more starkly now as the real foundation of what's happening. And they were the things that were being blind, you know, the majority were blinded to by the program, by the TV, by the Matrix. But now, as I say, I think because this social proof is much stronger than they give it credit for, to wherever those baddies are.
Yeah.
They don't give credit enough, I think, for the power of the social animal, the social instinctive powers that are inherent in our humanity.
Yeah. We're human beings are massively creative
And loving, and
and
loving.
loving, absolutely loving and magical.
Yeah,
Humans are amazing. Yeah.
yeah, we love to help. Yes, absolutely. So what we've got, Ina's saying she'd like to learn more. Great. So you need to connect with Juliet or me, and we'll get you the education that you need. We'll get Una along to one of the calls where the freebies are, Juliet.
Ina, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Ina. I keep calling it Una. Ina.
And our stand in the park, you see.
Got the boards and did this a couple of weeks ago. The cars go past honking their horns in approval. Nice. We got the boards from UNN David Clues.
Oh, can you send it? Is there an actual link, Ina? Could you put it up? Because I did see a link and then I couldn't find it again. And I do want to buy some for Glastonbury. I had
Okay,
that
great.
idea, and then somebody told me that it had already happened in Glastonbury last weekend down by B&Q, which was amazing. But I want to get more. I want to, I think we should have an ongoing set of boards
Yeah.
happening in Glastonbury.
Yeah, real people news, not forced matrix news or false
Absolutely.
matrix news. Yeah, very, very good idea. I like it. People really sharing. Because that was one of the things that used to happen in the pub. That was why they dismantled our pub traditions, wasn't it?
They
Because
dismantled anything and everything that they felt would give humans power.
social powers and social connection, they've taken away where social connection used to be strongest.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to love working in pubs because, I mean, I liked drinking more than I do now. So that was quite nice that and I'm that old, we used to be able to drink while we were working. And it was like now, if I think about pubs now, I always think they're full of, it's like it's too focused on drinking now, whereas before they were like social containers. So the children would be running around, and there'd be people, you know, not everybody was drinking alcohol, and it was just a way to socially connect. Whereas now, I think of pubs, they're like, you go to the pub, it's kind of just for pub business. It's not just this social connection anymore.
Well, I don't know. They have turned pubs into cafes as well. It's like you
Yeah,
can
some
go
of
and
them
have
have.
your food and things like that.
Yeah, some of them have, but just you know, like because my family are Irish, we lived around pubs. We lived around pubs. There was the house and the pub, and you were in one of those two, or the shops. You were in one of those three places. That was it. You were in the house, or you were in the pub, or you were in the shops. That was life.
Yeah, so they have tried to deconstruct our places of social connection, like
Yeah,
churches. Oh my
and
God, did you hear that the Canadian pastor who was holding his church services outside, I can't remember his name, but he's been put in prison for 4 years
why?
during
'Cause-
lockdown because he insisted on still doing his services out in the car park during lockdown
wow, they've put him in jail
for 4 years.
in Canada. That little, it's a little robot they've got in there, isn't it? Pretty boy robot.
Yes,
Wow.
Trudeau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh
So
well, I'm sure this is, again, it's an awakening, isn't it? It's another awakening. It's another slap in the face for us if we think that things are going to be okay. No, they're not. We have to make them okay. We have
Well,
to make
he's got a huge following now, so I think whatever they do to us will be their own undoing.
Yeah.
Because there's a myth, surely. Everything that you attempt to crush then springs up.
You
And
feed it.
you feed it.
This is why we don't need to focus on what we don't want. We need to focus on what we do want so that what we don't want becomes obsolete. If we're not leaving it alone to become obsolete, we're feeding it. I'm running away from this. I'm trying to get away from this. I don't want this. This is getting all of my energy. I want that instead. I need my energy to go to that instead, not this.
Yeah,
It's got
so
to be that instead, that instead, that instead.
yeah, so instead of focusing with fear all the time on those horrible things, focus on what you can create. And that doesn't mean to say that you just put your head in the sand and you pretend those things
Quite
aren't,
the opposite.
because those horrific things are happening, and they are trying to crush us, and it's like really evil what's happening.
Absolutely. Well, this is where we can be very clear with our intention of what we do want. So knowing what's happened here that I don't want, knowing what that is, informs what I do want. Because what do I want instead? So it's not a case of I don't want this, but I want something instead, and that something can be even more precise. My intention can be even more precise given the information of what's gone on before. But if I don't need to focus on what's gone on before. I just need to focus on the precision of what I do want instead.
Yeah,
So it isn't about burying your head in the sand at all. It's about bringing the shit with you, looking at it. How can I turn that into fertilizer to fertilize this future, to feed this future that I want?
yeah. And we're coming up to the new moon. This week is very, very important for really focusing on those intentions.
It's on my birthday. I think the new moon's on my birthday. My birthday's next week, Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And we're having a ceremony at the spring next Tuesday, and then on Wednesday we're having a gathering to celebrate.
Yeah, new moon is my birthday, 6th of September.
Amazing.
I know. And then the full moon is when I'll be in Mexico doing the event.
Amazing. So you're a little Virgo baby.
I'm a Virgo. I'm a triple Virgo. I'm a huge Virgo, not a little. Yeah, I'm all Virgo, me.
My lovely Virgo friend.
Very grounded, very earthy, very bit OCD on occasion. My OCD got the better of me though, and it's quite funny because I have this desire to have everything organized, but it's such a big job because it would be every molecule on the whole planet if it ever had my way. Because it's so big, I'm overwhelmed, and I just live like a scruffy teenager because I can't be bothered with all that overwhelm.
Sounds like me, Marion. So Jack's saying happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Ina's given us the contact. Okay, that's really great.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the time is, Marion. We've been just like rabbiting on.
It's 1 minute to 6.
Oh my God! So we have got some very important news to announce. And well, first of all, is next on the new moon. We are starting.
It's Monday, Jack, not Wednesday.
Yeah, we are starting an amazing new project here, and some beautiful, really beautiful people are coming forward and launching this project, and I'm collaborating with them. So there's going to be a huge shift here at Healing Waters and Healing Gardens. It's really exciting. Masses of changes happening here and a real sense of community building. It's absolutely, yeah. Blessed birthday, says Rachel. Yeah.
Oh, hello, Rachel.
And Marion says she knew you were Virgo.
When I know video editing and computer programming, but I love the Virgo energy. I have very little. Oh, who else? Oh, and Ina saying happy birthday. Everyone's like, yay, send me love. I love it. I receive your love.
Yay, so we'll have to fly you down to Glastonbury for may your Irish and
Scouse ancestors come together and make music. They have. I'm it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? And then the sad news
Oh,
is
the sad news.
I'm not going to be around for a couple of weeks while I'm going to be in Mexico. So,
It's not a
Juliet,
couple of weeks, it's a couple of months, Marion. You've gone for 6
no, but
months.
I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll do I mean, I'm going to try and connect maybe once a month to this with you if I can, maybe
Is that a
more.
promise?
No, I'm
I
going to
don't make
try.
promises.
Don't do promises. I can
I knew,
suggest possibilities.
I knew you were going to say that. I don't make promises.
I can suggest possibilities.
You won't be able to stay
Never know the
away.
probability.
Yeah. So
Unless
that's,
it's happening right now. I'm a present moment being. What can I say? It's a
yeah,
nice,
me too. I'm
way to think.
present in the
Yeah.
present moment. So we won't see Marion next week, but we will see the lovely Brigitte.
Oh,
Fingers
nice.
crossed.
Yeah.
So we're given an opportunity for others to shine here and get over their nervousness,
Yeah.
step up and be seen on the wonderful. Oh, we've got a new title, haven't we, Marion?
Remind me.
No, we talked about it. Howard, what did we? Council of Elders, wisdom
Oh
from the.
yeah. So these calls that we've started, Juliet, how we can use this foothold that we've made to expand into something that's really going to help and serve everybody that's connected to this. Yeah. So it's the wisdom of the Council of Elders, I think was the
Something like that, or the Council of Elders wisdom.
something like that. Yeah.
We did decide.
So what do you think of our new name? People, let us know what you think of our new name. And so it will be, yeah,
So
it'll
we,
be there to support you. So what do you need? We need you to tell us what you need and how you like what we do and how we can help expand what we do, focus what we do. What do you
yeah.
need?
I wonder if people can just say what has helped them about our calls. I was asking Paul last week when he came to visit, what
Mm-hmm.
was it about the calls that helped? But the people listening here, what's been helpful to you about these calls?
Mm-hmm.
If you dare share, we'd
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah, yeah, that would be great.
Little feedback on our not our very last call, because we might do it again, Marion and I, but it'll be under a different name.
Yeah, yeah, that would be really cool.
So it will be at the same time next week at 5, but with a different title. Marion won't be here. But meanwhile, just tell us what you've liked. Give Marion a little going away present and tell her.
Yeah, a gift of your words, gift of your, yeah, the impact. So Ina's saying that I should have a great time with Santos. I will. And that the plain speaking of truth is what Ina likes. Good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think what's important for me in all of this, what I'm really learning, and I know I do it okay, but I need to be even more mindful, is it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to, to to notice if there's a mistake or an error, a misinterpretation, a misunderstanding, a miscomprehension. It's okay. It's okay for me to have that experience. Whether it's me that's done it or somebody else, it's okay. Because I think we get really hung up on being right, don't we? And it's like being right is more important than truth, or I don't know. Yeah, there's something about this. Oh, I haven't made a mistake. It's been made far too important.
yeah,
I like making mistakes. I like
yeah,
making mistakes. You learn a lot.
yeah. So what else did they said? Like the focus on what we intend in a positive sense to make a turn from what is to.
What may be. Nice. Yeah, it's really important, isn't it, Marianne? I think that it has been my message for a couple of years. It's the business I'm in, Find Your Why, the trauma work that I do with Juliet. All of what I do is focusing on what do you want instead? What do you want instead? What do you want to really focus on that?
Yeah. So
Clear.
instead of this shit nightmare, what do you want instead? Come on, folks. What do you want instead?
Jack saying it's special to know that there are other people out there in this mad world. There are other sane people out there in this mad world. Well, I'm in the mad world with you, Jack. Them sane ones can stay where they are. Oh, right. It's 5 past, and I've got a couple of other things I need to do this evening. So,
Yeah. So,
would like to.
well, Marion, I have really enjoyed doing these calls with
I
you.
know, me too. I really like it. So,
I think
it'll
I
happen.
could cry in this moment.
Oh, oh. Think about what will come
Yeah.
of all of this. It's beautiful.
So we have invited other wise elders from our advanced training to come on the calls as well. So hopefully
Yeah.
they'll get the courage to step up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's nice as well to listen to how because we've all got our own, initially, we all have our own very, sometimes very stuck views on things around trauma and our own state or the state of the world around us. So I think it's really nice to see from the different women in the group, Juliet, that we've got so many different ways now of looking at the world and recognizing trauma as it is and seeing it in, giving it its different names, its different guises, its different ways of showing up, and its different ways of working through, resolution or transformation or whatever it is you want to do. To have the variety of people that we've got in our little community at the moment is amazing, because we all say the same thing, but we say it in such different ways that it will reach much wider audiences.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Rachel says, manifesting abundance. Oh, I'm hopeless at reading this. Manifesting
Abundance in a loving, soulful way altogether. Great energy of bliss. Blissful new times from Rachel. Nice. Oh, lovely.
Okay, so go forward, young people, and
old people, just keep going forward. What do you want instead?
Yeah, and fuck the establishment.
Yeah, like my genes used to say, F you.
Leave them behind. Just go forward and create what's right, what's true, and beautiful.
Yeah, focus ahead. Thank you so much.
Yeah, lots of love to you all.
All right.
See you next week at 5.
Adios.
Adios.